at me. That's all muscle.
Oh.
You fat, I'm muscle.
Oh, look at my little Bill. He's a little Hercules.
And for the Jerod out there, I just would like to say that nobody is dead.
We just taking a break, man, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, everybody like, oh, y'all need to lose weight, y'all need to lose weight, y'all need to.
Remember the Mixon brothers? Here's the untold truth behind their disappearance. Jerod and Jamal Mixon vanished so completely from Hollywood that fans genuinely believed they had died, forcing them to publicly prove they were still alive.
Just been chilling, bro.
So because you ain't seen me doesn't mean that I'm not the
You know what I'm saying?
the world.
Yeah,
I'm still here.
The industry that made them famous for their size destroyed their careers the moment they chose health over Hollywood's expectations.
We've been we're on our health right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are trying to track some stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, me personally and my bro, we've been working out. You know what I'm saying? Getting ready.
This is how two of comedy's biggest stars were systematically erased by an entertainment system that valued their bodies over their talent. In 1996, 13-year-old Jamal Mixon walked onto the set of The Nutty Professor and into comedy history. Eddie Murphy had already filmed his scenes as the multiple members of the Klump family when producers realized they needed one more face at the dinner table. Someone to play Sherman's nephew, Ernie Klump Jr. Jamal became the only member of the Klump family not portrayed by Murphy himself.
And the director was like, eat a cookie and laugh. Here's a cookie, here's a Coca-Cola, eat this and laugh. So I'm like, well, shit, this ain't no audition, I do this every day.
The role seemed simple enough. Sit at the dinner table, laugh at fart jokes, shovel food into his mouth, and react to the chaos around him. Jamal had few lines, but his natural comedic timing and infectious laugh made him memorable. When audiences saw The Nutty Professor, which grossed over $273 million worldwide, they remembered the kid who found everything hilarious.
That's your nephew.
Oh, baby's got a little gab.
Meanwhile, older brother Jerod was building his own path in Los Angeles. Born in 1981 in Port Hueneme, California, Jerod started landing television roles in the late 1990s. He appeared on hit sitcoms like Malcolm and Eddie and Moshe, proving he could hold his own in scripted comedy. These weren't throwaway guest appearances. Jerod was demonstrating range and professionalism that impressed casting directors. The brothers' first major collaboration came in 1997 with Def Jam's How to Be a Player, marking the beginning of what seemed like a promising partnership. When they shared screen time, something special happened. They had a natural rhythm that only comes from growing up together, understanding each other's comedic instincts without explanation.
Yeah.
I swear we were just like on the set of How to Be a Player. I swear I was on the set of How to Be a Player. And dinner with Russell Simmons and J. Anthony Brown, and they were just calling us the Mixon twins.
In 1998, both brothers appeared in Warren Beatty's political satire, Bulworth, working with an Oscar-winning actor and director. This wasn't just comedy anymore. They were collaborating with respected filmmakers who saw potential beyond simple laughs. The late 1990s felt like the launching pad for careers that could span decades. Jerod's breakthrough came in 2000 with the Farrelly Brothers comedy Me, Myself, and Irene, where he played Shantae Jr., Bailey Gates, the son of Jim Carrey's character.
I can't figure out the atomic mass of this do the rhyme.
The film grossed over $149 million worldwide, and Jerod's performance caught the attention of major directors. He could stand alongside Jim Carrey without getting lost in Carrey's manic energy, a skill that proved his natural screen presence. Director Todd Phillips was one of those paying attention. Impressed by Jerod's work, Phillips cast him as Weensy in his 2003 fraternity comedy, Old School. The movie became a cultural phenomenon, establishing itself as one of the defining comedies of the early 2000s. Jerod's character became a fan favorite, the lovable pledge trying to fit in with the older fraternity brothers. Jamal returned to the Nutty Professor franchise in 2000 with Nutty Professor II. The Clumps, this time with an expanded role that gave him actual dialogue and more screen time. He was growing as an actor, proving he could do more than just provide physical comedy. Success followed with The Cookout in 2004, alongside Queen Latifah, and Gridiron Gang in 2006, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
How about you, Evans?
I played Pop Warner when I was younger, but that's about it, though.
By the mid-2000s, both brothers had appeared in some of the biggest comedies of their era. They had worked with comedy legends, A-list stars, and respected directors. Their faces were recognizable, their names were becoming known, and everything suggested they were building the kind of steady careers most actors dream about. But beneath the surface, a pattern was emerging that would eventually destroy both their careers. Every role they were offered, every audition they attended, every callback they received had one thing in common. They were all variations of the same character. Hollywood had decided what the Mixon brothers were worth, and it had nothing to do with their actual talent. Hollywood's treatment of actors who don't fit traditional leading man molds reveals the industry's ugliest secret. Despite their proven ability to steal scenes from major stars, casting directors saw only one characteristic when the Mixon brothers walked into auditions: their size. Every opportunity became another fat guy role, and breaking free from that label proved impossible.
I want in. Half these guys don't even go to the school.
I promised my wife I wouldn't drink tonight.
Jerod and Jamal wanted complex characters with emotional depth. They auditioned for romantic leads, dramatic roles, action heroes, anything that would showcase their range as performers. Instead, they received identical offers: the funny fat friend, the comic relief whose weight was the punchline, the character whose size defined their entire existence on screen. The pattern was undeniable when examining their filmographies. In Me, Myself, and Irene, Jerod played a character whose size was central to the comedy. In Old School, Weensy existed primarily as physical comic relief. In The New Guy, where Jerod had a prominent role, his character's weight drove most of his scenes. The same limitations applied to Jamal's career trajectory. In both Nutty Professor films, Jamal's character, Ernie Clump Jr., existed to laugh at bodily functions and consume massive amounts of food.
Thoroughly.
You want your colon clean? Fine, I'm gonna clean mine. Yeah, nah, my colon is clean. I'm talking squeaky clean.
His guest appearances on shows like George Lopez cast him as overweight students whose size provided the humor. Even when the brothers worked together, their combined presence was valued for the visual comedy of two large people, not their individual talents. This wasn't just professionally limiting, it was psychologically devastating. Every audition became a reminder that the industry couldn't see past their appearance. Every role offered confirmed that casting directors viewed them as one-dimensional props rather than actors capable of complex performances. They had proven themselves in major productions, but their range meant nothing compared to their size. The typecast trap affected every aspect of their professional development. When mainstream comedy began shifting away from the crude physical humor of the late 1990s and early 2000s toward more sophisticated verbal comedy, opportunities for the Mixon brothers dried up completely. The industry had used them for a specific comedic style that was falling out of favor.
Hey, Smooth.
What's up with it, man? What's happening?
What up with it, man?
Directors who might have considered them for different roles looked at their previous work and saw only the physical comedy performances. Their dramatic capabilities, their timing with dialogue, their ability to convey emotion. None of these skills mattered because Hollywood had filed them under a single category that allowed no deviation. Both brothers spoke in interviews about their frustration with being pigeonholed, but speaking out only made their situation worse. In an industry that values compliance over complaints, actors who publicly express dissatisfaction with their opportunities often find those opportunities disappearing entirely. The Mixon brothers learned that challenging the system meant being excluded from it. The psychological impact of constant typecasting cannot be overstated. Acting requires vulnerability and hope. You put yourself out there believing someone will see your potential and give you a chance to grow. When the only chances offered are variations of the same limiting role, maintaining passion for the craft becomes nearly impossible. By the late 2000s, both brothers were still working, but the quality and frequency of roles had declined significantly. Jamal appeared in Paul Blart, Mall Cop in 2009, another film that relied heavily on physical comedy related to weight. Jerod continued getting television work on shows like Scrubs, where he played, predictably, an obese patient whose size was the focus of his scenes. The roles were getting smaller, the budgets lower, and the opportunities fewer. The trajectory that had looked so promising in the late 1990s had clearly stalled, not because of any decline in their abilities, but because Hollywood refused to see them as anything other than the characters they had been forced to play repeatedly. The entertainment industry's shift in comedic sensibilities during the late 2000s and early 2010s created an additional obstacle for the Mixon brothers. The crude, physical humor that had defined their era, the American Pie franchise, scary movie series, films like Old School and The New Guy, was giving way to more sophisticated comedy that relied on ensemble casts and verbal wit rather than physical gags. This transition wasn't just about changing audience tastes. It reflected a broader cultural awareness about body shaming and the problematic nature of comedy that mocked people's physical appearance. While this evolution was positive for society, it left actors like the Mixon brothers stranded in a previous era of humor that was increasingly seen as outdated and potentially offensive. The brothers found themselves caught between two impossible positions. They were too associated with the physical comedy of the early 2000s to be considered fresh for new projects, but they also weren't established enough to transcend those associations and reinvent themselves. They existed in Hollywood purgatory, recognizable but not in demand, familiar but not bankable.
In the movie.
I play one of Kevin's friends, you know. I play a hostage. I come in, let them know the mall's being taken over. And then that's when they come up and put the gun to my head, man, you know, but...
You don't like that, do you?
Oh no, come on now, who?
Younger comedic actors were emerging who represented this new style of humor. Performers who could deliver sophisticated dialogue, work in ensemble pieces, and create comedy without relying on physical appearance were getting the opportunities that might have gone to established actors in previous eras. The Mixon brothers watched as the industry moved past them. The numbers revealed the stark reality of their situation. Between 2000 and 2006, Jamal had consistent work with multiple film and television credits per year. After Paul Blart, Mall Cop in 2009, significant roles became sporadic. Years would pass between substantial projects, and when opportunities did arise, they were typically low-budget productions that received limited release. When actors disappear from Hollywood, the financial pressure behind their exit rarely gets discussed. The Mixon brothers weren't just facing creative frustration, they were confronting the brutal economic reality of being working actors whose opportunities had evaporated. Unlike major stars with substantial savings, journeyman performers live project to project, and when projects stop coming, financial devastation follows quickly. The entertainment industry creates an illusion that all actors are wealthy, but the truth is far different. For every performer making millions per film, thousands struggle to survive on irregular income while hoping their savings last until the next job materializes. The Mixon brothers had achieved recognition and success, but they hadn't achieved the financial security that would allow them to be selective about roles. Consider their financial trajectory during their peak years. Supporting actors in major studio comedies might earn between $50,000 and $200,000 per film, depending on role size and negotiating power. After agent fees, manager fees, taxes, and Los Angeles living expenses, that money doesn't stretch as far as it appears. More importantly, it has to last until the next job, which could be months or years away.
We just taking a break, man. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, everybody like, oh, y'all need to lose weight. Y'all need to lose weight. Y'all need to do it. You need to do Ozempic.
Jerod Mixon's estimated net worth has been reported around $200,000, while Jamal's has been estimated at $400,000. These figures represent their lifetime earnings from decades in entertainment, less than many middle management professionals earn over similar periods, except without job security, health insurance, or retirement benefits. When roles became less frequent in the late 2000s, financial pressure intensified dramatically. Rent, mortgage payments, car insurance, basic living expenses. These continue regardless of employment status. Actors in this position face impossible choices. Take exploitative roles that reinforce harmful typecasting. Relocate to cheaper areas and lose proximity to auditions, or abandon acting entirely for more stable work. The brothers tried various approaches to generate income as traditional work slowed. They collaborated on independent projects like White Tea, which Jerod produced. They made appearances at fan conventions and nostalgia events, capitalizing on their connection to beloved films from the 1990s and early 2000s. They maintained social media presence, understanding that visibility could potentially lead to opportunities.
This is so important.
I mean, basically, it's important, to send a message out there, just telling all the kids to stay in school, follow their dreams, don't get caught up in...
Financial instability creates a vicious cycle for actors. Desperation shows in auditions. Casting directors can sense when someone is auditioning from need rather than confidence. Additionally, financial stress makes it difficult to invest in career maintenance. Acting classes, professional headshots, networking events, even maintaining physical appearance all require money that struggling actors don't have. Neither brother has been forthcoming about specific financial struggles, which is understandable. There's stigma around financial difficulty, especially for public figures. Admitting financial problems can make you seem less desirable to hire. If others aren't employing you, maybe there's a reason. So actors often suffer in silence, maintaining the appearance of success while barely surviving. Without consistent high-profile work, actors also lose access to health insurance through Screen Actors Guild benefits. The union provides coverage to members who meet minimum earning requirements. But insufficient work means losing that protection. For actors dealing with health issues, and both Mixon brothers struggled with weight-related problems, losing health insurance creates additional financial strain. The reality of being a working actor in Hollywood is that success is temporary and security is rare. The Mixon brothers experienced both the highs of major studio films and the lows of struggling to book any work.
That's so funny.
Shut up, slow-mo. You want lazy fat? You know that?
That financial roller coaster, combined with creative frustration and industry typecasting, created pressure that contributed to their eventual disappearance from mainstream entertainment. Medical bills, basic living expenses, and the cost of maintaining a career in Los Angeles while earning irregular income created a situation where financial survival took priority over artistic fulfillment. The dreams that had seemed so achievable in the late 1990s had become financially unsustainable by the 2010s. But things slowly started getting better. In 2024, Jerod and Jamal Mixon launched Full Plate Entertainment, their production company designed to create the opportunities Hollywood no longer offered them. The name reflected their comprehensive approach: movies, music, digital content, and merchandise.
Yeah. We started our production company right now. We have to put some snacks in there. It's called Full Plate Entertainment.
Right.
Because we got plate, man. You know what I'm saying? It's going to involve everything. It's going to be movies. It's going to be the music. It's going to be digital content.
They announced plans to sell Hercules t-shirts commemorating the 30th anniversary of The Nutty Professor, attempting to capitalize on nostalgia for their most recognizable work. The brothers had been forced to address persistent rumors about their deaths that circulated on social media. During recent interviews, they repeatedly clarified that they were both alive and well, with Jamal stating he was 41 years old and still maintaining the same energy that made them successful. The fact that death rumors seemed plausible to many people demonstrated how completely they had vanished from public consciousness. Their weight loss transformations, which should have opened new career possibilities, instead eliminated the final connection Hollywood had maintained with them. Both brothers maintained their optimism during public appearances, insisting they possessed the same talent and energy that brought them success. They spoke about comeback plans and new projects in development, but their most recent significant credits remained years in the past. Jerod's last notable appearance was a non-speaking role in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in 2017, while Jamal's final film credit was the same year with Grow House. The entertainment landscape they attempted to re-enter had changed dramatically since their peak years. Social media influence, streaming platform algorithms, and audience demographics had shifted toward younger performers who understood current digital marketing strategies. The Mixon brothers represented a previous era of comedy that felt increasingly distant from contemporary entertainment trends. Their production company remained more aspiration than achievement. While they spoke enthusiastically about upcoming projects, concrete developments were limited. Independent filmmaking required substantial capital and industry connections they no longer possessed. Their previous self-produced effort, 2013's White Tea, had failed to generate sustained momentum. The brothers continued living in Los Angeles, maintaining their connections to the entertainment industry while pursuing projects that might never reach completion. They existed in a space where past accomplishments provided recognition, but no longer translated into professional opportunities. The industry that once relied on them for reliable comedy had replaced them entirely, leaving two talented performers struggling to find relevance in a business that had forgotten their contributions. The gap between their aspirations and current reality continued widening as years passed without meaningful roles or productions. They had become cautionary tales about an industry that values performers only for specific characteristics, discarding them when those characteristics change, regardless of their actual talent or dedication to their craft. Anyway, that's it for the video, folks. Bye.